The mind is a screen. How your thoughts shape your reality.
Hello everyone and welcome to today's deep dive. Today, we are going to break down an extremely profound and frankly eye-opening presentation from the Buddha Walk Association of Australia. The core message at the heart of our discussion boils down to a single sentence: you are what you think. Before you dismiss this as abstract or glitch, trust me, once you understand the underlying mechanism behind it, the way you see yourself and the entire world will undergo a total transformation. Let's jump right in. Why smart people make silly mistakes. Let us start with a question that resonates with almost everyone. Why do brilliant, rational people suddenly make completely illogical, even absurd decisions over trivial matters? You've undoubtedly seen this happen, and you might have even experienced it yourself. Why does it happen? The answer lies in the foundational laws of how our minds operate. In the presentation, the Venerable offered a brilliant analogy. Our mind is like a computer screen. A screen itself is inherently blank and can play anything. If you play a video of love and compassion, the screen manifests love and compassion at that moment. If you play thoughts of anger or revenge, it manifests anger and revenge. In the exact same way, whatever thought you are actively focusing on, whatever video is playing in your head completely defines who you are in that present moment. Section E. Thoughts define who you are. Since our mind is a screen, our perception of the world is merely a reflection of our internal state. The materials reference a famous story involving the great Song Dynasty poet Sidampo and Zen master Foyan. While meditating together, Sidampo asked Foyan, "What do I look like to you?" Foyan replied, "You look like a Buddha to me." Foyan then asked Sidampo the same question, trying to be clever. Sidampo teased, "You look like a pile of cow dung." Foyan simply smiled. Unbothered, Sidampo went home boasting about his victory. But his sister, Su Xiaomei, instantly poured cold water on his triumph. "Brother, you lost miserably. Zen Master Foyan sees a Buddha in you because he has the Buddha in his heart. But what must be inside your heart for you to see him as a pile of cow dung?" This story vividly illustrates a key point: the world we see is a mirror of our own mind. This brings us to an intriguing explanation of our daily cognitive levels. We often assume we have full control over our minds. But our conscious, analytical thinking, known in Buddhist philosophy as the sixth consciousness, is merely a surface level, intentional effort. When we say "I want to work hard," that is our sixth consciousness at work. But it is just the tip of the iceberg. What lies beneath? The subconscious mind, or in modern terms, muscle memory. When you repeatedly practice a thought using your surface consciousness until it becomes second nature, it sinks deep into your subconscious. Most of our daily actions, spontaneous reactions, and automatic behaviors under stress are driven by this internal autopilot. This explains why we so often think one thing yet do another. Our surface level intentions and our subconscious autopilot are simply operating on completely different frequencies. Section R. Why we make foolish errors. What happens when our autopilot goes untrained, or when our mind gets cluttered? The Venerable shared a mind-boggling yet entirely relatable story from his childhood. His mother, usually sharp, efficient, and methodical, was cooking dinner. The fire in the stove began to fade, so she picked up a shovel of coal to feed the fire. But at that exact split second, her attention snapped to the sizzling pan. A single thought flashed through her head: don't let the food burn. And what did she do? She dumped the shovel of coal straight into the frying pan and started stirring it with the food. How can an otherwise intelligent person experience such a complete collapse of logic in a single moment? The material explains this through two contrasting mindsets. Single point thinking: her focus jumped wildly between two isolated points, adding coal and preventing the food from burning. When our thoughts jump frantically between disconnected points without seeing the whole picture, we inevitably make big mistakes. Global thinking, true wisdom, requires taking a step back, a bird's eye view of the entire kitchen. Adding coal is adding coal, cooking is cooking. You finish one task clearly before moving on to the next. Mixing them together leads to pure chaos. Section 7. The real suffering behind fleeting pleasures. Single point thinking does far more than ruin a dinner. It leads us to make destructive choices in life, especially when chasing short-term pleasures. We trade lasting well-being for fleeting gratification. Take our love for high-calorie, sugary junk food. For example, The presentation uses an incredibly vivid analogy to illustrate the hidden costs. Imagine smearing sticky whipped cream or melting ice cream all over your hands. If you try to wash it off with water alone, no soap or detergent will it come clean. No, your hands will stay sticky and greasy. Now, transfer that image to the inside of your body. Your internal organs and blood vessels don't have dish soap. When sticky, processed substances accumulate over time, they coat your internal system, leading to inflammation and metabolic issues. Under the spell of single-point thinking, we only focus on the instant sweetness on our tongue while remaining completely blind to the long-term breakdown of our health. This aligns with deep Buddhist insights on the nature of suffering dukkha. We think we are chasing happiness, but we are often buying a one-way ticket to misery by clinging to temporary fixes, the suffering of unfulfilled desires when we crave something pleasant but fail to get it, the suffering of separation when one lost the people or things we hold dear, the suffering of association with the hated when we are forced to deal with frustrating situations, and the suffering of the five aggregates, where we find ourselves entirely consumed by uncontrollable, overwhelming emotions and attachments. So long as we blindly attach ourselves to fleeting external pleasures, we remain trapped in this cycle of suffering. Section 4. Beyond empty diplomas. This obsession with surface results over internal substance isn't limited to food or emotions, it is deeply embedded in our societal structures, most notably in education. There is a stark contrast between true learning and modern credentialism. The wise approach, focusing on the process, the genuine accumulation of knowledge and experience that yields real inner growth. The superficial approach, chasing only the result, a piece of paper that earns social approval. This is as absurd as expecting to be recognized as a great writer without ever reading a single page. You demand the fruit without ever planting the seed. A telling phenomenon mentioned in the presentation is how students immediately tear up or throw away their textbooks right after graduation. They feel liberated. But this reveals a fundamental misunderstanding of knowledge. A diploma merely certifies that you went through a learning process. Real knowledge should remain etched into your mind and neural pathways as a tool you can draw upon at any time. If you treat textbooks as burdensome garbage, you toss the knowledge right into the trash along with them. You end up with a shiny degree, but zero practical capability, and real-world reality will eventually expose that empty shell. Section 5. Awakening your inner wisdom. How do we break free from random, chaotic thoughts, deceptive pleasures, and superficial attachments? The shared message from the Buddha Walk Association of Australia offers an empowering solution. Amitabha is not merely a religious title, it signifies an awakened one. It represents the act of awakening the intrinsic wisdom that already exists within you. True happiness is not a fleeting, impulsive rush that leaves you drained or ill. True joy is a deep, lasting, and innately pure peace. When you train yourself to move away from chaotic, single-point jumping and cultivate global awareness, you turn clear wisdom into your subconscious autopilot. You awaken your true nature, and external distractions lose their power over you. As we wrap up today's deep dive, I leave you with one simple question to ponder. If your mind is a computer screen, what video are you playing on it right now? Is it a chaotic loop of anxiety, a blind pursuit of superficial validation, or is it the clear, grounded calm of global wisdom? May this reflection empower you to consciously choose what you play on your screen every single day and become the true master of your own mind.